how much of the current malaise at the club do you think can be laid at Brendan Rodgers' door? And do you think there's a conversation to be had just now about sacking him now?
Well, I think he is responsible for the slower tempo that we have been used to in the last couple of years. So we do give the opposition a bit more time to position themselves and to thwart our attacks. I think, he is a good coach. I think he definitely improved Scales and improved O'Reilly for a while. But I agree with Brian that both of them have gone off the boil in the last 3 or 4 weeks. I would not change the manager at this stage of the season. I think he's been dealt a bad deck of cards. I think we just don't know how much he's been involved in recruitment and how many of the players that have come in are players that he has specifically asked for. I can't see him staying for next season. So no matter what premise he decided to come back for, and presumably this was Dermot Desmond's gig, getting Brendan back, I think whatever he was promised, whatever he was told to persuade him to come back, I think is probably not in reality. So I'd be surprised if he stays. I think if he wins the league this year, it will be probably the finest achievement of his managerial career, because it's really not a great squad. And I don't think Rangers are great either, but they've found a way to win every week. And we saw they had something like 43 shots against Ross County. That we struggled against Ross County two weeks earlier. So, yeah, I think Rodgers takes some of the blame. We already discussed, I think the game management's not been good enough in tight fixtures. Another example where we lost the game late was Lazio at home. When Pedro scores in the 95th minute, when our two fullbacks are charging up the field. We lost a late goal at home to Motherwell in November, which cost us a couple of points. So I think I still believe that Rodgers can maybe rescue this season, just because he has such a fantastic record at beating Rangers. But I'm less confident that we're not going to drop more points against the other sides in the division. And clearly Rangers are now beating everybody. And they've got Hearts at home, who are on a fantastic result, and then they've got Kilmarnock away on that pitch. And I think if Rangers win those two games, it really is, there's no margin for error at all for us.
And Brian, I'll get your take on this as well. Rodgers are reputedly on £3 million a season. So if we were going to sack him now, or even at the end of the season, you're probably looking at an upwards of a £6 million payout. Do you think that that's likely at all? And maybe in the scenario, sitting here today, I think we can all agree it's not going to happen like this week. But see if we go any further behind Rangers, maybe 6 or 8 points behind them, do you think the board would pull the trigger in that situation?
Again, I don't think they would pull the trigger, but I think Rodgers realises that, see, if he doesn't win the league, I'd say that's him finished as an elite level manager. So that's the only good thing I can say about having Rodgers, is his ego, that he will try and turn this round. And then I agree with Robert. I don't think he'll be here next season. I think it just hasn't worked with whatever, the stars aligned and players getting injured and crap recruitment. The board will not sack him. The board will do nothing. They're happy to, go through the motions and fall asleep at the wheel. But that's my only hope, is that he's got such an ego that he'll be thinking the next move, whether it's Palace or wherever. I don't think he'll be here next season. And God love him, I don't want him here next season.